What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Will Thomas and Daphne plan to end Hope and Carter's romance? Thomas Forrester and Daphne Rose may secretly join forces, according to the Bold and the Beautiful. Will these con artists work together to destroy Hope Logan and Carter Walton's romance? The Thomas comeback will take place in the beginning of September, but the show may already be preparing for it. Thomas may have a covert partner who is already in town. When Steffi Forrester asked Daphne to go back to Los Angeles, Daphne initially said no, but she eventually showed up in LA anyway. What would happen if Thomas was the one who persuaded Daphne to travel? BNB fans know that Thomas still lives in Paris, and Daphne was also living there before her flight back to Los Angeles. There is a possibility that Thomas and Paris Buckingham's engagement was secretly ended off-screen. Thomas might already be plotting to win back Hope, so it makes sense for him to reach out to Daphne as an ally. Daphne is Steffi's friend, and it's possible that Thomas is also a friend of Daphne's. It's possible that Thomas will plot with Daphne to get what he wants. Even if Thomas and Daphne haven't connected yet, that could happen once he's back on screen. If Daphne and Thomas both want Hope's relationship with Carter to end, they might one day realize that they share a common objective. Thomas may be able to assist Daphne in manipulating the situation in the hope that she will successfully seize Carter from Hope. That could pave the way for Thomas to pick up the pieces of Hope's shattered heart. If Thomas reunites with Hope and Daphne reunites with Carter, he might see it as a win-win situation for both of them. It's possible that Thomas will tell himself that Daphne and Thomas are the best people to make Carter and Hope happy. Regardless, a partnership between Thomas and Daphne is a possibility now that Thomas is getting ready to return. Thomas may be ready to work with Daphne on a risky breakup mission if his obsession with Hope returns. According to the Bold and the Beautiful, Thomas's love life may be updated, so keep an eye out for any forthcoming romantic news. Daphne Rose returned to the Bold and the Beautiful. Now what? Daphne Rose went back to Los Angeles to have a fling with Carter, but so far, nothing has happened. Daphne Rose's return to the Bold and the Beautiful is this week's slow burn. Despite her opposition to Forrester Creations, she boarded a flight back to Los Angeles. It just made her think about Carter, whom she fell in love with. However, since then, she has returned with nothing. Return of the nose. Steffi has numerous reasons for wanting her friend Daphne Rose to return to Los Angeles. After the fashion show, the launch of her new perfume was successful. In addition, given everything she had been through, she desired her best friend to be by her side. When Daphne got back to Forrester Creations, she slacked off. Although she would love to work with the West Coast team, there is one man who makes things complicated. Carter is that person. Daphne reluctantly returned, even though she wanted to avoid Carter and Hope in the halls. She ran into Carter upon her return, and the two continued where they left off. Carter flirted with the nose quickly, especially because he couldn't resist her signature scent. What is Daphne's next move? We wanted more from the interaction between Daphne and Carter. This has implications for Carter and his relationship with Hope, which we want to know about. The two are newly engaged, but we have a feeling that their relationship is headed for a shakeup. Hope has been spending the majority of her time with Liam, who recently discovered that his prognosis was false. In the meantime, Daphne might be keeping a secret. Fans of BNB have pondered the possibility that she is carrying Carter's child. They didn't appear to end up sharing a bed with us. She did, however, remain at Carter's loft for a considerable amount of time after he erroneously overheard Hope's conversation with Liam. Hope might fall into Thomas's arms as a result of this, who is expected to return in September. We're excited to see what's going to happen next with this complicated love square. The Bold and the Beautiful has always thrived on webs of betrayal, secret alliances, and love triangles that turn into quadrangles. Now, it appears that the canvas is preparing for yet another tangled web that has the potential to alter Hope Logan's future. The looming concern is whether Thomas Forrester and Daphne Rose might work together in secret to put an end to Hope and Carter Walton's relationship before it could develop into a marriage. Given the hints the show has dropped, this rumor, which is already rife in fan circles, seems highly plausible. Thomas's return to Los Angeles in early September promises upheaval, and Daphne's sudden reappearance in town after initially refusing Steffi's invitation adds fuel to the fire. What if Thomas was the one who actually orchestrated Daphne's return and offered her an unspoken partnership that could benefit them both? Even though Thomas has claimed to be moving on, He has never truly let go of hope, and Daphne has never completely buried her desire for Carter, no matter how hard she tries to convince herself otherwise. They could work together as a formidable pair of manipulators, using charm, persuasion, and shared ambition to break Hope and Carter's bond and turn their affections toward them. When confronted with two determined schemers who thrive on strategy, the entire foundation of Hope and Carter's romance may become unstable. Thomas has always made it abundantly clear that he wants Hope. Thomas has always been drawn back to Hope, despite his engagement to Paris Buckingham, which may have ended quietly off-screen. Fans remember his Parisian life as an escape rather than a genuine new chapter, and with Paris perhaps out of the picture, there is nothing stopping Thomas from once again setting his sights on the woman who has haunted him for years. Hope is more than just a love interest for Thomas. She is the embodiment of his redemption story, the dream he has pursued through therapy, obsession, and purported healing. It makes sense for Thomas to look for allies if he truly is returning with renewed determination. Daphne Rose arrives, a woman with the same conflicts and longing for something out of reach. Carter has admitted that he finds it difficult to resist Daphne's allure, perfume, and mysterious presence as she has lingered on the edge of his heart. Daphne may tell herself that she has moved on, but her actions suggest otherwise. Her willingness to return to Los Angeles despite her vow to avoid Carter reveals the truth. She wants him. Hope's engagement to Carter is the only obstacle, and Thomas could present Daphne with a tempting solution: work together, dismantle the couple from within, and claim what they both desire. The symmetry between their objectives is what makes this potential alliance so dangerous. Thomas is intimately familiar with Hope's flaws, including her idealism, her lingering emotional attachment to Liam, and her inability to make decisions of the heart. He could take advantage of everything, swaying her toward Carter's doubts or rekindling her relationship with Liam just enough to shake her resolve to Carter. Daphne, on the other hand, knows Carter's vulnerabilities. He has always struggled with loyalty and temptation, frequently jumping back into a failed relationship at an alarming rate. Carter's love life has been a roller coaster of near misses and heartbreaks, from Quinn to Katie to Zoe. Daphne could easily fall back into that cycle by presenting herself as the woman who truly understands him, who has been there in Paris, and who understands what makes him feel desired. With Thomas playing Hope and Daphne playing Carter, the two could orchestrate a slow but steady unraveling of the engagement until it collapses under the weight of mistrust and misdirection. Thomas's arrival at the appropriate time is also not an accident. Many B&B stories come to a head in September, and this return is probably meant to wreak havoc in the Logan, Forrester, and Spencer triangle. Hope has been spending an increasing amount of time with Liam, whose miraculous recovery and fake brain tumor ordeal has reminded her of the bond they share. Fans are aware that Hope and Liam's pull is practically gravitational, and that no matter how many times they separate, they are drawn back together. This alone already poses a threat to her stability with Carter. Thomas could make use of their natural chemistry by subtly telling Hope to figure out her feelings, and gently reminding her of their own romantic past. Daphne, meanwhile, could manipulate Carter by planting seeds of insecurity about Hope's true devotion. Carter's paranoia could be stoked by a harmless comment like, "Doesn't it seem like she's with Liam more than she's with you?" Daphne might jump in when Carter starts to doubt himself, comforting him, making him laugh, and eventually tempting him in a way that he might not be able to resist. Unanswered questions surround Daphne's return itself. She initially resisted Steffi's requests for her to return to Los Angeles, but she eventually did so, prompting speculation about the involvement of a different factor. Fans have speculated that Thomas himself might have convinced her by contacting her from Paris with plans or promises. Because of their international proximity, it's not out of the question that they could have connected, especially with Steffi as their common link. Even if Thomas returns to the design office and meets Daphne,